Hi, I'm Anne. Welcome back to my channel. So currently I am reading Moby Dick by Herman Melville, and there's quite a few chapters so far that are very dense when it comes to whaling and understanding whales, and I find my eyes just glazing over when he's talking about the details of what exactly is a narwhal. And I have been very tempted at several points throughout this book to just skim through, to just skip the chapters about intense whaling jargon. I just don't care that much. So I skim a lot when it comes to certain books. When it comes to dense classics, I very much try to pay attention to the details, all that good stuff. But when it comes to modern books, especially modern thrillers and modern romances, I tend to just skim over a lot of the details. So it got me thinking, is skimming really reading? Are you actually reading the book if you're skimming through slow parts or parts you don't care about? The main problem I have with skim reading is that you're just picking up the parts of the writing that you are interested in. You're not getting the full vision that the author has written. You're only getting little parts, whether that is paying attention to dialogue is a very common one, and you skip over all the details of descriptions. That is something that I fall into once in a while. But you're not getting the full image of what the author is trying to convey in their story because you're not getting the overall understanding of the story. It's like picking up a very detailed summary or like a Spark Notes book and saying, yes, I've read this classic, when all you've actually read is the plot summary. One objection to this argument that if you're not thoughtful reading, then you're not fully reading the book, that came to my mind was, but a lot of books aren't worth taking the time to read all the details. A lot of books, no offense, probably don't even deserve a skim read. If you gave them a very thoughtful, nuanced read, you would probably hate yourself by the end. And of course, I think it is true. There are some books that I don't think are worth reading, so those are justified to be skimmed. However, you also have to say, well, then why are you even bothering to skim them if they're really that worthless? I love books. I think books are very much a way to open your mind to new ideas. They're very much enjoyable to read. I think there's so many good things that books bring to your life. But even if you are reading a book for knowledge or to garner a deeper understanding of the world, I think you should be enjoying that book that you read. You shouldn't read a book that you are hating reading, unless you're reading it for school or for your job. That's a whole other kettle of worms, because then it's not your choice. But if you are reading for enjoyment, if you are reading for fun, you shouldn't force yourself to read in detail a book that you really aren't enjoying. And I think in this video, I'm more on the fence about this topic. I think by focusing on skimming and doing that too often, you can actually start doing it with all the books you read, and it is a bad habit to fall into where you stop paying attention to the details and you just look at the big picture. And because of that, you miss a lot of the nuances of the book. I have done that before with John Gwynn's books because they're just so long and so detailed. And when I gave Malice, for example, by John Gwynn a reread, I found that I caught so much more because I was looking at more of the nuances. So I think you do miss things if you skim, whether it is an exceptional book or a mediocre book or a bad book. You do miss things. That is the reality. And especially as someone who wants to be a writer in the future, I realized that skimming inhibits my ability to write, to understand the nuances of things, because those who write read. And the reality is, if you are only reading, for example, dialogue, you will start to get really good at writing dialogue, but you won't necessarily be really good at descriptions because you haven't read a lot of descriptions. However, you also don't want to take your time and spend hours and hours reading a book that isn't that good. So I guess for me, I am in the middle. I am on the fence on this topic. So I'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic, because the reality is, I think there are some books that don't really deserve a thorough read, that are light. They're supposed to be fun. You should be able to skim if you want. And then there are other books that really deserve that deep read, and if you don't read them like that, then you miss something. And so I think, yes, skimming is a type of reading. However, it is not garnering the full understanding of the book. But I'm curious to know your thoughts. I know this is a short video, but I've been thinking about this topic recently because, like I said, I'm reading Moby Dick, and I would like to do more of these videos where I take a topic and kind of just think about it and muse about it. And then especially after I post it, I would love to hear your thoughts, because so many of you have such nuanced understandings of things. When I post a video on my opinions, you guys are like, well, this is actually a little bit more nuanced way to look at it, or this is a different way to look at it, and I really enjoy that. And if you have other topics, other questions that you have about reading, and we can have a discussion about that, I'd love that. So thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe. I post every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye!